Hey there folks, it is Rob from Movie Review Time, and I'm back with a brand new What I Watched video. Have a pretty good stack here, Blu-rays and DVDs to show you. Movies that I've watched over the past, 2.5 weeks. Whenever I feel like I have enough to show, I will make a video. It might just come out randomly, but I like to wait until I have a good size stack. But I have different genres: horror, comedy, thriller, action. And I do apologize for the last What I Watched. I only had it up for a little bit because of the issue I was having with my headset and mic. Got it figured out now, so I'm just going to move on with that. These are not going to be reviews, they're just quick thoughts. So let's get started. First up here on Blu-ray is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I just bought this, and I was late to the party on it. I just waited till it came out on Blu-ray. I knew I was going to buy it. I did like 28 Years Later. This is a continuation. For the most part, I liked it. There's a certain character that shows up at the end that I thought they could have concentrated on more. I know I'm not the only one who thinks that, but it's a slow build-up for maybe the third movie. Even though this movie did not do well, I'm hoping they're still going to greenlight the third film. I really hope they do. But those of you who have not seen it, definitely check it out. Next up is another horror film here, directed by Tobe Hooper, who did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And it is Eaten Alive, with good old Judd, played by Neville Brand. And he's so good in this film. He plays this psychotic hotel owner. And it's like by a swamp, and there's like this giant alligator. And he's got like a dual personality where he's fine one minute, and then all of a sudden he just goes raving mad and throws everyone in this little pond area with a crocodile, and the crocodile eats them, and everyone just starts to go missing at this place. I don't know, it's a lot of fun. Neville Brand does a really good job in this film. So he uses that weapon there. He chases like this little girl underneath. She's like hiding underneath the dock, and he's trying to like find her and stuff. And it gets chaotic. Marilyn Burns is in this too. The girl from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one that made it out alive. She's in this movie, so that's pretty cool. All right, next up, another horror film. Here we got A Candle for the Devil. Basically about these two sisters that own a bed and breakfast kind of inn place. This girl ends up going missing, and the sister of this girl comes to find her and realizes she's not at this inn where she's supposed to be. Well, come to find out, these two sisters killed this girl because they don't agree with the way they dress and stuff like that. They dress kind of slutty and showing their skin, and they're kind of religious. So after they kill her, one by one, they start killing others. And because it's just like one of the sisters actually just snaps and she just can't take it, and people start putting their nose in where they don't belong. It's just really, I don't know, it's really good. And this is the Scorpion release DVD here. This movie came out in '73. Really good one, guys, if you can check it out. Some good nudity, too. All right, next up, by Severin Films, it is Cannibal Man. And this is kind of the same situation in a way that, just like this movie that I was talking about, where this guy accidentally kills somebody, and then it's like a downward spiral from there. He starts killing others because they won't keep their nose out of the business. Like this woman he kills this guy, stacks the body in this bedroom, and then people start coming over to the house, and he's so afraid of them finding this body, then he has to kill that person. And then he stacks that body in there. And then another person comes over. It's just like, just stop coming over to his house. You got this one guy who's spying on him from a building. He can see right down into his house with the binoculars. It's a crazy movie, but you could see like this guy's downward spot. He seemed like a really good guy, and then all of a sudden he just snaps. So this one was '72, so this came out 1 year before this one, but they're kind of similar in ways. So Cannibal Man. Now, here's one you probably have heard of, and this is definitely my top 10 favorite Michael Douglas films, and it is Falling Down. A guy who has a very, very bad day, and he, everywhere he goes, he just stands up for himself, basically. He doesn't put up with anybody's shit. He collects weapons as he goes, and he turns out to have like an arsenal in this bag that he has. But yeah, he ends up in this gang territory. This gang tries to like steal from him, and he ends up beating the shit out of one of them, and moves on. This guy at the golf course has a heart attack, and he's like, "Where's your medicine?" "In the cart." "Well, now you're gonna die with that stupid little hat. How do you feel?" My favorite scene in this is when he goes into the burger joint. He's like, "I want some breakfast." He's like, "You can't have breakfast. We're serving lunch." And he's like, "I don't want lunch. I want breakfast." "Well, hey, I'm sorry." "Yeah, I'm really sorry too." Yeah. This movie is Michael Douglas. His performance in this is top notch. I have to say this is one of his best acted films. I always said that maybe Fatal Attraction was, but no, he's better in this. All right, next up, I have this on Blu-ray. It is The Maze Runner. This is the first one in the trilogy. I think this is based off the books or something, but I've never read the books. But this is, you got, what's his name? Is his name Dylan O'Brien? Yeah, Dylan O'Brien. He ends up in this place. He wakes up in this elevator shaft, ends up in this place that's surrounded by walls. And within those walls is a maze. And you have to, during the day, the maze opens, right? Or no. Yeah, during the day, the maze opens, you go running it, and then at night, the maze closes. And it shifts and stuff, and they're trying to find people to be able to run the maze and scout it out to see if there's like a way out. And there's like these creatures and stuff. It's pretty cool. I really enjoyed the whole trilogy of this series, so definitely check it out if you haven't. One of my favorite films of all time, I can't get enough of this movie, and it is Nicolas Cage in National Treasure. Now, I do like the second movie, but the first movie I can watch over and over again. I have this Disney exclusive Blu-ray that you could only get at the Disney Movie Club, and this is the Collector's Edition Blu-ray. This has great music, and I just love Nicolas Cage in this. He steals the Declaration of Independence because there's a secret map on the back that leads to a hidden treasure. And so that's the whole movie. He's basically trying to get to this treasure, and there's also these bad guys trying to get to it as well. Just really, really cool. It's about history, too. You learn some things about, the Declaration of Independence and who signed it and stuff like that. So, pretty awesome. Now, I had to throw a Stallone movie in there. And, you know how I love Sylvester Stallone. He's my favorite action star next to Arnold and Bruce Willis and Chuck Norris, rest in peace. So, I watched Tango and Cash, and Kurt Russell's another one. I love Kurt Russell. This movie, their chemistry is just amazing. It's got great music, and you got Tango and Cash, who are both cops on different sides of the city, meet up for this one bust, and they get framed and thrown into prison. And so they got to escape prison and figure out who framed them. It's just really good. Terry Hatcher's hot in this too. But they are both really good in this film. I always wish that they made a second film. They needed to make a sequel to this. This is one of those films that they could do it. But sadly, we didn't get one. All right, from the MCU, I wanted to revisit this movie, The Incredible Hulk. This is the second movie in the MCU series in order. And this has Edward Norton as Hulk, this time as Banner. Which I'm going to say this. At first, I loved Mark Ruffalo. But now I can't stand Mark Ruffalo as Hulk anymore, really. And I go back to Edward Norton. I actually like Edward Norton and the Hulk that they went with here. Savage Hulk. I mean, this movie, the CGI is it's kind of terrible at times, but then other times it looks good when he's fighting Abomination. But it's still a cool story. He's on the run, and the government's after him, and he's trying to find a cure. Just really, really cool. I love this movie. Here's a movie that I kind of grew up with. This one, it's kind of a, well, they call it like a cross between Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Home Alone, and it is three ninjas. I can see the Home Alone part, but you got these kids who their grandfather teaches them ninjutsu, basically how to be ninjas, and they're really young, so they're trying to learn the way of the ninja. There's this part where these guys rob their house, or they actually break into their house to kidnap them, and then the Home Alone sequence starts where they start setting traps and doing all that, except they're doing ninja stuff. So I don't know, this has really good music. It's very cheesy, but I love it. There's like 4 of these movies. Alright, moving on to some comedies here. I watched Waiting, which I haven't seen in a long time, but this has a really, really good cast, and it's one of my favorite Ryan Reynolds films. Shows you what goes on in a restaurant, like behind the scenes, and, you know, people making your food. If you piss them off, they'll mess with your food and stuff like that, which actually probably does happen in real restaurants. We got Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, Andy Malinakis, Dane Cook. There's just a lot of stars in this film, but it's very, very funny. I just laugh my ass off every time. So another funny one that I remember seeing this movie in the theater with my cousin Dan and thinking like it was just all right at the time, but I revisited this and I was laughing. I think this movie's funny, and it is Anger Management with Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson. This may not be the funniest Adam Sandler movie or even the best Adam Sandler movie, but I still think it's pretty good. And Jack Nicholson is hilarious, I gotta say. But you have appearances from like John C. Reilly in this, Woody Harrelson is in this, a lot of the people that you see in Adam Sandler films are in this, of course. But, yeah, it's a good one. I laughed. I mean, it's still funny. All right, the last 2 is an original movie and the remake. So I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This is the 40 Years of Everlasting Fun. Has a bunch of special features. This is a classic movie. I showed my kids this, and it's just, I love the musical part of it, the songs. I love the way it looks when they go in the factory. Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka is just irreplaceable. I'm sorry, you cannot replace him as Willy Wonka. You just can't. He is ultimate Willy Wonka. And just everything about this film is just great. Yeah, they make the candy look so good and everything, so yeah, it has some heart, some emotional parts too, but it's also very, very funny. And then I ended with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which is the remake of this one. Now, I don't hate this film. There are things about it that I wish they would have changed. I like the whole story of Willie, how his dad was a dentist, he didn't believe in candy. But then Willie sought after different countries and different ways to make candy. I like all that story. How he met the Oompa Loompas, how he went to where was it, Egypt, and he built a castle out of chocolate, and all those stories are great. I actually preferred a lot of that. But then they kind of do the same thing they did here. Is they put the golden tickets in the chocolates. You know, you got the kids who find them, they go into the factory, they take the tour of the factory, and stuff starts to go wrong. It's the same thing that happens here. I wish they would have just, like, maybe tried something different. I could not stand Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka. I just couldn't stand him. It was so fake. He was not funny. Every time he'd run into the elevator and he'd be like, oh, like, like, I thought it was just bad. It was really bad. He didn't have the charisma or the funniness of Gene Wilder. Maybe I'm just sitting there comparing him, and they're two different kinds of Willy Wonkas, but what are you trying to be here? Johnny Depp is always playing a pale, sunken face person in a Tim Burton film. Yes, this is directed by Tim Burton. So Johnny Depp is always, he's good friends with Tim Burton. He's always playing the same kind of pale character. At first I thought this was Edward Scissorhands too. It's like, might as well be. But the songs were not good in this. They were not memorable. Some of the visuals were good, but then there was some bad CG. But the behind the story stuff was interesting. The behind the scenes of like Willie and like when he grew up and how he got the factory and what all that stuff was great. I just wish they would have focused more on that. But yeah, I don't know. It's not a terrible film. It really isn't. There's just things that I would have preferred, better. So, all right, guys. So that is what those are all the movies that I watched. Quick recap here. I watched 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Here we got Eaten Alive, A Candle for the Devil, Cannibal Man, Falling Down, I Don't Want Breakfast, or I Don't Want Lunch, I Want Breakfast, The Maze Runner, National Treasure, Tango and Cash, The Incredible Hulk, Three Ninjas, Waiting, Anger Management, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more What I Watched videos. And yeah, this is Rob signing off. I'll see you guys next time.